And we're back. I'm Alec Dinkoff here with Steve Todd, creator and founder of Open Sourced Workplace. Steve, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Alec. How you doing?
Doing quite well. Doing quite well. For those of you who don't know me, I am a voice actor, but I'm here with Steve talking about workplace, environment, everything that you need to know, today's up-to-date topics. But speaking of up-to-date, Steve, let's fill the audience in on a workplace productivity tip, something they could implement today, tomorrow, maybe next week.
Okay, Alec. Today's tip is to be proactive and not reactive. So what does that mean? Right, today's environment with access to messaging and email, phone calls, et cetera, right? People take time away from us, right? So we're being reacting. We're reacting to what other people are asking for us, whether they're putting meeting invites, whether they're shooting us messages, whatever that is, email alerts, etc. Right? Is there a way we can better manage our productivity by limiting or eliminating some of those interruptions? So let's be proactive. Let's turn off those alerts. Let's set specific times in the day when we can review emails. I know that's not always everyone's not able to do that all the time, given some of the activities they do at work. They have to be reactive all the time. But anyway, the point is control as much as you can, so that you can be proactive. You set the time when you respond to things. You set agendas. You set meetings, so that basically you're able to manage your time, therefore be more productive.
It's a good strategy. I've tried that in my personal business, and it's helped a lot. Most people, if they need something now and they're important, they know how to get a hold of you now. But if not, you don't need to check email constantly. As long as you're within that 24-hour range on a lot of stuff, obviously every industry's different, it'll be okay. And we know, and we've talked about, switching tasks constantly will kill productivity, absolutely demolish it.
It will, and I think with the tools that are available today, right, we can be really smart. You can set up that so whenever certain people send you emails, you get alerted, so that if something does come through that is critical, you can respond to it in a timely way. Obviously, you can set up words rules where specific words come up. So if it's an emergency, if it's an alert, whatever that is, it gets your attention. But in essence, the whole point here is to what you just said is let's set up our own day so that we can focus on getting the key tasks done that we need to get done so that we're productive through our day.
Exactly, exactly. So, good luck implementing it. Wish you the best. It's worked for me. I know Steve's implemented certain things like this in his day-to-day routine, and it's worked for him as well. Steve, speaking of other things about yourself, for those of you who are new, Steve and I sometimes we'll go back and forth, but mostly we keep it on Steve when we share something interesting, something perhaps impactful about our lives. Steve, what do you want to tell the audience today?
So it's I've been sort of now we've been doing this for a little bit. It's getting a little tougher, right, to get to actually what is an interesting fact, and again, right, level of interesting and what is interesting obviously varies. So one thing that is a little unique, I guess, about myself is so I am right-handed, but I actually throw with my left. Don't know why, I don't know how, but that's what I do. I don't throw anything with my right hand. I throw with my left, but all my writing and everything else is with my right hand. So there you go.
So you're ambidextrous only when it comes to no, not even you're
No,
no, you're
no,
just left-handed when it comes to.
throwing. And I think it all goes
Okay,
back to playing soccer as a kid. Um, I'm left-footed, so I think almost it becomes that's just a natural thing for what I did. But I've no idea why I picked up and did that. And also the other thing that sort of made me thought, well, why is that? Why do I do that? And it's more maybe it's because I was boxing as a kid. Maybe that's just how I was taught how to box properly. I don't know. Who knows?
hmm.
Interesting.
That yeah, it's different. Um, okay, all right. Uh, moving on. I'm not sure how to
Quickly,
rebound
quickly
from that.
moving on.
Well,
Quickly moving on.
you threw me off balance with that comment. So, but I do want to dive into the real reason we're here. It's all about open source workplace and the articles and information that it shares. So currently, there's an article out, and it's in podcast form. It's read. You can check it out on our podcast. Link in the description. It's how does office design influence creativity? Um, so first, before we even dive into that article, how can this be? How can office influence creativity, Steve?
I guess the best way for me to sort of create that picture for everyone is if you think about your own home, right? You think about the home, you think about where you relax, you think about where you're creative, you think about where you sleep, where you shower. Every room's different, looks and feels different. And if you think about, your own mindset, okay, where do I go when I will have to be creative, where I want to do deep thinking at home? And that's no different to the work environment. So environments are created with the whole point of ensuring that whenever you go somewhere, the color, the feel, the furniture, the aesthetics, what's on the wall, the lighting temperature, everything like that is designed. So whenever you go into a specific environment, you actually can do that. So that's where we come from. And that's how we sort of think about creativity and creating those environments in the workplace. And that's how it can. And we've talked about previously about how color changes your mindset, right? How do you switch your brain so that it is more creative? How do you switch your brain so you can be more focused? You think about the seating position, right? So where you're seated, does it promote creativity or does it take away from creativity? You think about those lounge chairs where you're a little tilted back, you're relaxing. Sometimes for some people, that's creativity. For other people, that's time to relax and sleep. It just all depends on what you're looking to do.
It makes sense. Makes sense. I've had both of those days. And for those of you who want to see the article on color in the workplace, we'll have a link to our actual video discussing color in the workplace in the description here. And from there, you can also check out the article or listen to it in podcast form. So it talks about color, it talks about creativity, but it goes through and actually highlights 9 different things to consider when designing an office for creative purposes, which is great. So it doesn't just have scattered ideas throughout this article. It really breaks it down into manageable, workable ideas. I love that. I love that about some of the articles that are posted on Open Source Workplace. We don't have time to cover all 9, but like I said, you can find a link in the description. What I do want to jump into is just a few of those points. It says, design a break room of your dreams. And that's almost inspiring, but what does that really mean? How could it be helpful to creativity in the office environment?
Whenever we're all at work, we're all on, we're switched on, right? We're totally engaged and we're there to do whatever it is we need to do. At times we need to recover, right? You think about athletes, they think about their performance and they have to have time for recovery, then they get back into it. And that's how you continually evolve, right? You think about marathon training, whatever that is, right? You go through those sort of phases of doing that. And a big part of it is the relaxation and recovery. And it's no difference in the workplace, right? Whenever you are focused and you're in that zone, so to speak, there becomes a time when you need to retreat. You need to relax so that you can re-engage motivated, driven, and your brain switched on again. So designing that breakout space for your dreams is okay, what does that need? What do you need? And what does the organization and the company need at that location? What do they need to allow them to recover? And it may well be something really simple as a nice place to go have lunch, to have a coffee, play some pool, play some table tennis, play some video games, whatever that is. But it also may well be, well, somewhere where you can go relax, listen to music, and go to sleep. It may be something where you can go do some yoga, go to the gym, whatever that is. It all depends on what actually people need within that organization at that location to be able to allow themselves to recover. And the whole point of that relaxation, that breakout space, is to allow people to then get back into a productive mindset, collaborative mindset, and re-engage in their work.
Okay. Okay. So anything that can help employees do their best, implement it. Makes sense. And it doesn't have to be an overhaul of the entire room. It could be small changes. So you could start today or tomorrow. Correct,
Yeah,
Steve?
no, absolutely, and it's real critical. And if you sort of think about what employees require to be productive, they're really basic things, right? First thing is they want that level of security, right? I've got my coffee, I've got my tea, I've access to, good drinking water. It's clean, there's fresh air. There really are really basic things, and if you get those things right, then you're 80-90% of the way there.
Exactly. Um, and the other 10% might come from this. It says highlight outside of work achievements. So I've read the article. Obviously, you can see it on podcast. That's my voice. But I'm a very personal person. right? I keep outside of work time as outside of work time and work time as work time. Um, what can this concept do for maybe someone like me and someone that may be a little bit more open?
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat as you. I'm very much an introverted, very much a private person, even though we're both doing this and we're outside and anybody can watch everything we're doing. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm an extrovert and I want to showcase everything. It's not. I'm a very private person. So I'm with you and I sort of have the same mindset. But let's sort of take a step back and look at why it's important, and then we can sort of get to that second part. So the first reason it's important is to connect people to people in a work environment, right? It's social cohesion, right? So when I walk past and I see Alec, I know Alec's there, but if I see a picture of Alec in Japan or doing whatever, right? It's while that is something memorable to you, it's a spark, it's a connection where you and I can touch on something, or you walk past my desk and you may see an image of something on my screen, you may see a picture of Manchester United, whatever that is. Again, it's that how are you creating connections between people, how are you creating connections within teams, and that's where that comes from. Now the privacy thing and sort of the personal thing, I totally buy into it, as I said. But again, it doesn't have to necessarily be awards and things that you're doing. It doesn't have to be necessarily the things that you're putting up on Facebook all the time. It can simply be something that's quite simple. It could simply be an image of food that you've had at different locations. It could be whatever. I know what, colleagues of mine have images of different restaurants that they've went to and their food plates. And that's to them signifies and helps them. But obviously, whenever people come up to their desk, it's a talking point. It allows commonality, it allows that social interaction, which again all leads to collaboration. And whenever you've got collaboration, then people get innovative and they get creative. And that's the whole point of trying to create that social environment and interaction for everybody.
I really like that concept of food because it's everybody has to eat somehow, some way. You have to gain nutrients. So that's something that applies to everyone instantly. And whether that be interesting, like, oh, what is that? Where was that? What style, type, etc. Or, ooh, that looks good. How did that taste? Was that as good as I think it is? Because, whew, and it's a talking point, right? And then it might be, oh, I got it from here. It's a restaurant right down the road. They try it. Next thing you know, there's that office collaboration, that camaraderie that builds these small these little connections that build a overarching infrastructure of team camaraderie. Cool.
And to your point, right? So that's where for you personally, okay, you may not want to showcase anything about you, but yet you just created that spark, right? That connection point, and you've just given an opportunity to again further develop a relationship, simply by a foot of a big steak or a burger, whatever that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very simple.
Very simple. Well, something else that's very simple is to hit subscribe, hit like, hit share, hit all those buttons right there, that bell, ring it so you can see our updates, see us every week. We're here. As for me, I hope you can join the community. We'll grow together, like, share, and throw it out on all your social media platforms. We don't care. We want to bring information to everyone. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.